Welcome back to DIY Makes Sense. My name is Regina, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how I replace my old, outdated, pain in the butt thermostat. Okay, I'm going to walk you through all the struggles and problems I had along the way. I ain't leaving nothing out. You know why? Because if you guys want to replace a thermostat in your homes, I want you guys to avoid all the headaches I had to endure and overcome. If you're interested in this topic, let's get started. Okay, so here is my old thermostat. Now, from this picture, it looks harmless. It looks easy to operate. The little buttons is on the side. It looks simple, right? Let me open this thing up for y'all so y'all can really see what's going on. Now this. Shortly after moving into this house and figuring out that I had to deal with this thermostat, I say, you know what, this thing gotta go. This thing has gotta go. All these little buttons in here, you have to program this thermostat for the daytime, for the afternoon, for the evening. All of those different times, different temperatures. If you're gone, you got listen, that's too much for me. And then you have to make all the changes again, like for the summer and winter. I'm not dealing with you, thermostat. You have got to go. So when I went to replace the thermostat, I thought, okay, so let me see how much it costs to replace this thing and upgrade it. Let me check and see how much it costs. So after some research, it averages about $200. That's labor only. That's not including the thermostat. Labor only average about $200. Of course, it's going to be more based on what thermostat that you choose. So again, more research. Is this something I can do myself? I consider myself handy, but I have never replaced the thermostat. Never even really thought that that's something that was possible. I don't know why, I just didn't. So after doing a little bit of research, I'm like, okay, I kind of think I can do this. I think I can do this. Now, there are a couple things you'll want to know before starting this process. All right, so number one, you gotta know where your circuit breaker box is located. And when I'm down there, I cut the main breaker because I don't want to have to figure out which circuit breakers control my heating or cooling system. And no, the labeling on my breaker box is not as detailed as it should be. So that is on my list of things to fix. Number two, you got to have all the tools necessary to complete this task handy. Screwdriver, camera, flashlight. I like to have a level because when you're mounting the thermostat, you don't want it to be crooked. Wire cutters. Not a bad idea to have materials to patch the wall. Just in case you need it, you want to make sure that you have that as well. Being organized will expedite this entire process and save you a lot of headache along the way. Number three, is the thermostat you want compatible with the system you have at home? Do you have a gas, oil, or electric furnace? Do you have central air? Do you have a hot water system? A heat pump? You know what? I could go on and on, but I won't. Just know what type of system you have before heading to the store. So don't come on my channel doubting yourself, okay? With some precautions, with some knowledge, a little bit of research, you can do this project. But I understand if you are overly cautious, if you're nervous, if you're a little bit hesitant, because you'll have to deal with electrical wires, all like things like that. There's nothing wrong with you contacting a professional. Nothing wrong with that at all. So the last thing I want you to do is put yourself in a situation where financially you'll have to fix something and you can't really afford it. I completely understand. Contact a professional. and go from there. All right, so I'm already out and about running some errands. I figured, why not comparison shop these thermostats? I head to Walmart. I find two thermostats there. I wanted something non-programmable, easy to install. But I was also heading to Lowe's. I find the same thermostat there as well, and the price is the same. So I decide to buy my non-programmable thermostat in Lowe's. With my new thermostat in hand, it is time to head home. So I get my thermostat home and doubt immediately sets in. I'm just like, okay, I really have to do this now. This has got to work out. So before I even touch this old thermostat, I've got to cut the power. So I'm looking at the thermostat. I take the face of it off, right? That has all the buttons and all that. I take that part off. Wasn't too bad. It kind of popped right off. And then I can see all the inner workings of the thermostat. I see the wires. I see how it's secured to the wall. So I'm looking at the wires and I'm looking at my brand new thermostat and it's all color coded. I'm trying to straighten out the wires, right? So I can see exactly where they go. And also for me to take a picture. Because if I start messing with this thermostat and I don't get it right, and I just take this off and start unhooking and unscrewing things, and the new one doesn't, for whatever reason, work, I need to put this old one back on. And I need to do it properly. So I had to take a picture before I unhooked everything. So I'm like, okay, you just match the colors, right? I'm looking to read the instructions, right? I'm reading the instructions. I'm looking at the wires and I'm looking at my new unit and I start hooking this thing up. Time to cut the power back on. And at some point I notice when it should be working, I have all the colors matched. It should be working fine in theory. I noticed that when I started cutting things on and like actually adjusting, I don't hear my furnace, nor do I hear my AC unit responding at all. I'm like, okay, what happened? What's going on? I have to stop at this point. Gotta cut the power off again. I'm researching right now. I'm researching what did I do wrong? I'm looking at the instructions. And it says that if you're not getting a response, you could have potentially blown a fuse. So I'm like, ooh, I hope it's as simple as that. I go downstairs. My fuse is in the furnace in my basement. I go downstairs. I'm looking at my furnace like, where are you, fuse? Wherefore art thou, fuse? I find the fuse. I'm going to show you where it is on my furnace. I find the fuse. I take the fuse out. Power's off. I take the fuse out. And sure enough, it's blown. I'm looking at the fuse and you can see like a little black, like a baby explosion. That's the best way to describe what I saw in the fuse. And I said, it was the fuse. Thank God it wasn't anything more serious than that. So I close everything up and now I'm back off to the store because now I need to buy a fuse. I buy the fuse, right? I take the old fuse with me to the store. I need to get this exact same fuse with the same little number. I'm trying to get all the right things, right? I find some fuses. I head back home. I put the new fuse. I replaced the fuse. At this point, the power is still off. I'm calling customer service. I need someone to hold my hand through this process. Please help me. I get on the phone with them. I let them know the prior thermostat that I had. I let them know which model new one that I purchased. I let them know what color wires that I had. They were asking me all these questions, so they made it very easy. They stepped me through the entire process. Now, don't get me wrong, I had everything hooked up properly. My problem was with the red wire. Because I have only one red wire, I should have placed the jumper, and I'll circle that, connecting both terminals R and RC. That's what I failed to do. So once they got me through that, oh, I was good. Anyway, thank God for them. They helped me get my thermostat going. Once I cut the power back on, like I get the wires hooked up, right? I cut the power back on. I start tinkering with the thermostat and adjusting. I hear my AC unit. I'm like, yeah, oh, yes. I start messing with the heat. I hear my furnace. Oh my God, I was so excited. I got off the phone with customer service after thanking them just like over and over again. And then I just kind of sat there to myself, looking at my brand new thermostat that I installed. So to me, it was a big deal. I don't specialize in electrical work. I don't have any certificates. No training, really. I did it. The thermostat's working. So let's get into these pros and cons. Pros, of course, I'm saving the money. I'm doing it myself. The cons, I'm spending money. I'm hiring a professional, bringing someone in, and having them perform the work. Number two, the thermostat may not have been installed correctly. Thankfully, all I encountered was a blown fuse. Had it been anything more than that, I would have had to call a professional in to take care of the job. Which leads into my third point. I could have caused damage to the thermostat itself, a circuit breaker, or myself. Before you attempt to start a project like this, you've got to know what type of system that you have. In my research, I've seen different thermostat wiring configurations. And to be honest with you, they look like very complicated systems. For mine, I'm dealing with four wires. I wanted a very easy to install thermostat, and that's what I got. For me, this project was worth trying out. But you have got to make that same determination for your situation. If it's not worth it, call a professional. Now, how many of y'all giving your thermostats the side eye right now? Y'all looking at y'all thermostats real crazy. I know y'all are, especially if it's an outdated one. Go ahead and replace it. You can do it. It's not that hard. I've said this before in other videos. It's not that hard. If I can do it, so can you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.